Hello everyone, I am Gavin Van Moore, Catholic author and speaker from Southwest Minnesota, excited to continue my series from my new book, Shining Through the Darkness, Reigniting Christ's Light in Your Life. Now if you enjoy this video, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others that would enjoy this content. If you would like me to speak at your parish or for your group, or if you would like to buy a copy of my book from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or bookbaby.com, all that can be found in the description below. Now, the topic for this week is going to be about time and how life can just get messy and murky and can honestly just kind of get away from us. Now, depending on where we're at in our lives, regardless, the one thing we're all going to have in common is we all just feel too busy. Whether we're in high school, college, we just got out, we're having our first job, maybe we're having kids, maybe your kids are all moved out of the house now. Wherever we're at, we're always just kind of lumped down with so much to do, so many demands. But how much of that is valid? How much of that is necessary? And how much of that can we actually remove from our lives? Now, when we look at our time, okay, we have work, hopefully we have some spiritual nutrition in there, leisure time, family time, we have sleep, as well as just, our hobbies. Now, a lot of times the first thing that's going to go is that spiritual time, that spiritual nutrition, that spiritual nourishment that we need to keep a healthy spiritual life going. And a lot of times that just gets too busy to where we say, yeah, I just don't have time to pray. I don't have time to sit down and do rosary. I don't have time to listen to this podcast. And the list goes on and on. Now, St. Mother Teresa had a perfect quote to sum this up. If you're too busy to pray, well, you're too busy. So if we find ourselves in that point where, all right, I have this list of things to do today, and one of them is not praying, how can I analyze that list, and how can I cross something off to free up time to pray? Now, we don't need to start off with a full hour. All we need to start off with is 5 minutes. Ask yourselves right now, do you have 5 minutes to devote yourself to God, to get to know God better? Think about it. Is there 5 minutes that we waste on our phones? Is there 5 minutes we're just watching YouTube videos? Is there 5 minutes where we're literally just sitting around staring at the wall, just doing nothing? Where in our lives can we trim the fat just a little bit to start with 5 minutes? And in that 5 minutes, it'd be remarkable to what we can begin. Okay, we can start listening to maybe more Christian music. We can find a podcast. Find a daily quote book from saints or from holy people. Find little avenues to find 5 minutes that you're just going to focus on God. And why is that so important? Well, the reason for that is if we don't have a prayer life right now, if we don't have a relationship with God, we have to start with something small to give him avenues to start talking to us. A lot of times you'll hear someone say, yeah, I can hear God laughing, or I can hear God telling me this, or this is the message that I heard God telling me when I was contemplating. And a lot of times the people that will hear that, they'll start scoffing at, I've never heard God talk to me. Why are you so special? Why does he speak to you? Well, my response to that would be, what avenues have you given God the ability to speak to you? Okay, are you exposing yourself in prayer? Are you giving him time to speak through others? See, if we put up roadblocks to all these avenues, all these people that can talk to us through podcasts or books or music, then there's no way for God to reach you. Once again, if we put up a brick wall around our hearts, blocking ourselves away from God, God never stops trying to reach us, but we have cut him off entirely and aren't allowing his message and his word to get to us. So we look at 5 minutes. And the reason I say 5 minutes is you look at anything in your life, that's the first milestone to try to cross off. For example, if I tried to exercise today, if I want to get in shape and I want to start running and I want to run a mile, sorry, my dog is sneezing like crazy. If I wanted to start running a mile, maybe I would set 5 minutes as my first check mark. Now, if I were to do that today, I probably wouldn't even make 5 minutes. I don't run. It's been years since I've exercised like that. And so if I were to try to do 5 minutes, I would be exhausted. But if I set myself to 5 minutes every single day, eventually that would become my warm-up. Okay, I would start warming up, and then after 5 minutes, all right, now we can start ramping up for the real exercise. And that's how we have to look at our spiritual nutrition as well. As we get on this spiritual journey, we have to start with 5 minutes as just kind of that warm-up. Okay, it's going to be tough. It's going to be almost exhausting. It's going to be something that we really have to force ourselves to do. But as we start compiling day after day after day, eventually, 5 minutes is just kind of the casual thing. We'll start picking up a few more little habits, and eventually might get an hour in our day. Now, it doesn't have to be a full hour all at once from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. Maybe it's 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there, 20 minutes on your lunch break, 20 minutes on the ride home. You find more and more avenues to where you can now allow God to actually speak to you through others and through His work and through His word and through all the many blessings that we have in this world today. The other thing I like about the idea of 5 minutes is most of these videos, as I've already gone over 5 minutes, are to be nice and short. It's something that, all right, we're going to quick pick this up, cover a nice topic, and we'll be done with it. We'll come back next week and find the next one. Or if you have another 5 minutes, 10 minutes that you can give, watch another video. Same goes with my book. My book isn't this idea that, all right, you're going to sit down for an hour and maybe get through a chapter. No, they're very short segments. I want to really pinpoint and focus on something. Instead of bogging it down with very philosophical language, we're going to keep it short and simple because I want to make sure that in your 5 minutes you can knock something out, gain something from it, and have something that you can strive forward. So that's why I like that 5-minute mindset. Now, when we start looking at how do we approach this, I want you to think of it as a spiritual budget. So if we look at our own budget, it's pretty simple. We have 3 variables. We have our income, we have our expenses, and hopefully we have some left over for savings or investments. Now with money, all right, sometimes we can cut back. We can decrease some of our expenses. Or maybe we get a new job or we get promotions or we get a raise and that income can go up. It can alter our budget a little bit and make it more flexible to add up those expenses and have more in savings. But when we look at our day, there's only one variable that really matters, and that's time. See, no matter what we do, no matter how much more we sleep, how much we cut back, whatever we do, there is only so much time in a day. And we can't get that back. So we have to make sure that when we look at our day, are we actually sitting down, all right, I am going to get 8 hours of sleep, I have 8 hours of work, I have this much time for commuting. Find where that 5 minutes is and set yourself accountable to it. One of the most life-changing things I have done is I found a habit app on my iPhone here, and all it does is keeps track of my goals. About 100 days ago, I set the goal of I want to pray a rosary every single day, I want to read 30 minutes a day, and I want to write. And over that course of time, I finished my first religious book here, my most recent book. I have read, I think, 6 or 7 more books, which is more than I probably read my entire life up to that point. And I've gotten more passionate and been able to do more rosaries, and it's starting to expand my spiritual nutrition. And all it does is keep me accountable of, oh, I forgot to read yesterday. So now I have at least an hour that I owe to myself. And that's just it. We have to understand that we're not going to have time every single day. Things pop up, we get busy, we get holidays and certain other situations that are going to bog us down a little bit. But if you set yourself the goal of, I want to read for 30 minutes, I want to pray for 30 minutes, whatever it's going to be, if you miss it and you have a chance to back up, you owe that to yourself and make that up. So find a way today. Where can you cut the fat? And how can you give God 5 minutes today? Now, may the Lord defend you in battle and be the lamp upon your feet. God bless.